guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the first episode of Luz Delirio, a podcast where we talk about anything and everything, mostly philosophical, mostly self-development, mostly a lot of things. Honestly, we talk about anything and everything because humans are too cool to be a niche. So let's go. The title of this video is Your Healing Isn't Linear, It's Layered. This honestly came up to me like around a week ago just because to get personal, I've just been going through a lot of things where it has really made me question whether I'm proud of where I am and who I've become, especially due to the fact that I went through like a very big life change a year ago. I graduated university as a first generation college student, and so much of my identity was tied to that experience, was tied to that accomplishment. So once I accomplished it, I really didn't recognize what else or where I was going to go next, like what direction I was going to go next. And so, I did what everyone did, and like after graduating, I got a job, and then I got another job, and then I got another job, and I've had 3 jobs since I've graduated. And to be honest, I feel like, it's a double-edged sword because I know that people graduated a year ago and are still struggling to look for a job. And I recognize the blessing that it is to have a job in this economy, but I also recognize that the reason I've had so many jobs is because the first one, it wasn't for me. The second one, I was laid off, and this third one, I'm considering leaving because quite literally it's also not for me. And the funny thing about it is that I've prayed for it and I wished for it, and the fact that it's not for me, it makes me think like, dude, what am I doing? Like, am I being like ungrateful? Like, what am I doing? Like, what's happening? What's going on in my life right now? And with that being said, I've hit the point where I've known what I wanted to do when it comes to like my creative projects and stuff like that. I've always known that I wanted to do YouTube, and I've always known that I wanted to like edit videos and like be all aesthetic and cool, but like I never took it seriously because I was like, it's just a hobby and my videos are not that good anyways, and no one really cares what I listen to, yada yada yada. And this is a narrative that I have had played in my head for like close to 4 years, because I was part of those people that in 2020, when we were all going through quarantine, I was like, damn, like, this would be like a fun time to start YouTube. Like, so many people were like, oh, I'm finally starting it, I have so much time. And I'm fully convinced that if I would have started YouTube during the pandemic, I'd be like a full-blown content creator. I honestly would still be in school because I'd have the money and the freedom to do it. I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, I want to become a content creator because I want to go on these brand trips and do all these things. But like, to me, one of the like very big reasons as to why I want to become like, and I don't even like to say content creator, for I think I just want like people to like just chill with me and hang out with me and just like hear me talk and then like respond in the comments. I feel like I want community, and that's the thing that took me a little bit of a while to figure out when I was recording all of these videos and stuff like that. With that being said, this past year really stripped me open and was like, have you done the healing that you thought you did? And I'm saying this because throughout the 4 years that I was in colleges, and especially during the pandemic, that's when honestly, like, I feel like that's when my healing journey, my self-development journey was kind of kicked off. Like I was starting to become more interested in like, oh, what does it mean to manifest? What does it mean to walk in your purpose? What does it mean to be a better version of who you are, like a better you? I feel like the pandemic was honestly, I don't know, like you can call me out in the comments or something, but I think the pandemic and forward especially like was when the narrative of like becoming your best self really popped off. I had spent 4 years of my life really trying to build up who I was. The thing is, this year that I experienced after graduating was something that like I never pictured myself doing. Barely entering my senior year, I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna get a job as soon as I graduate, I'm gonna move to a new city, like I'm gonna make tons of friends, like I'm gonna be able to keep in touch with my friends. And for my life to turn like honestly the exact opposite of that was kind of like a slap in the face, especially due to the fact that I reached a point, specifically yesterday as well, where I really just sat down and was just looking into the abyss, and I was like, I literally am not enjoying any part of my life right now. Like, nothing. Like, I feel like I haven't gone to the gym, like I haven't been like healthy, I haven't been nourishing my body, like I haven't been taking care of myself, like I'm not working a job I'm inspired by, I'm not working a job that I feel like I'm impacting the world with, I'm not like receiving the compensation that I feel like I should be, like I'm not living in my purpose. And then I'm kind of like, what is my purpose? What is purpose? Would we ever know purpose? Are humans ever really meant to live within that framework of finding your purpose and trying to become who you're meant to be? Or rather, are you just a set of building blocks, and then once you reach a certain culmination of your life, you'll realize, oh, that was my purpose all along, that's what I was good at all along, you know? I never, like, I'm not in a space where I want to be in. And then it all slapped me in the face, because I'm like, you're not in the space you want to be in, but these are the consequences of your past actions, right? These are the consequences of all the choices that you did or did not make the year prior, and that's another thing, is I feel like with healing there comes a level of accountability that you have to be okay with. Like, you have to be okay with just turning around and looking in the mirror and saying, like you made all these decisions, and this is why we're here, why we're here, and the thing about it is that healing, yes, healing, it's not looking at yourself, your past self, in the mirror and being like, it's your fault that we're here, it's your fault this, it's your fault that, so I'd rather just erase you and not know you. Healing is more of like, yeah, your past self in the mirror and being like, damn, like, yeah, this is who I was. I believe that this past year demonstrated to me that, becoming your best self and becoming a better version of yourself is not due to the absence of your past self. I don't know if my point is coming across. It's like not due to the absence of yourself, or it's not due to the absence of your past self, but rather it's due to the presence of your past self and its habits and its wrongdoings and its shortfalls, and still choosing to become someone else, still choosing to move forward in a new light, still choosing to become a healthier, more resonated version of who you can be. Because that's the thing about healing as well, is that when you're on this journey of trying to become a better person, you kind of already have a vision. That's the thing that I wanted to mention as well. So many people concentrate the idea of healing as leaving your past self and moving forward in your future self, which, I mean, I guess, it's a very linear path. When I speak of linear, it's very linear, like very like step, right? But I believe that healing is a very layered process. In my head, like a layer of books. Every year, every event, every year of your life is a book, right? Every year of your life is a book, and it's stacked upon each other, right? The thing is like, just because you stack one book over the other doesn't mean that the book under it doesn't exist. Rather, whenever a book is added, you step into a new height, but the foundations of the books below you are the ones holding you up. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's where, this past year specifically really, 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 really pushed me to think about, is that, I always thought that, like, oh, I left that phase of my life, I left that part of my life, I'm not that person anymore. But the thing is, time is a construct in itself. It's like, you are your future and you are your past self and you are your present self. Like, you are literally one step from your past self and you're one step from your future self. It's the choices that you make and the things that you do that lean you one way or the other, right? And that's the thing, is like, I was talking to myself the other day, I do that a lot, is that I was, just brushing my teeth, and I was like, wow, like, whenever you're healing, it's not the absence of your past self, but rather it's the presence of it, and still choosing to become a better person, a more brighter, lighter version of yourself, and moving into the future that you believe that you have and you believe that you will get and that you have visions for. Because that's another thing, I feel like, if the universe, if God is giving you these types of visions for yourself, these types of images in your head that you're like, you know what, this is the life that I want, it's not coincidence. That's one thing that I'm starting to try to move more in my life with, is that nothing really is a coincidence. Because if there were, like, there's really no coincidences. Like, there really is not. Like, I feel like the world is orchestrated too perfectly. Like, have you looked at the roots of a tree? Have you looked at the leaves? Have you looked at the system of a stem? Like, have you looked at how intricate a cell is? No matter how minuscule the thing is, there's detail to it. Therefore, in my head, I'm like, what in this world makes me think that a coincidence is something of chance? When I believe that, I feel like, this might be really woo-woo of me, but I believe that everything is orchestrated to a certain extent. Everything is orchestrated. Everything. Like, you know, when it comes to red string theory, when it comes to fate, when it comes to meeting someone and being like, yo, I think I know you, you know, shit like that. It's like everything is orchestrated. And therefore, like, whenever it came to me trying to, you know, continue this healing journey and continue this thing of, like, you know, moving forward and trying to become my better self, I had to leave behind the mentality that, oh, just because I moved forward into becoming a better version of myself means that I left my past version, like, I'm not her anymore. Because I very much am. I very much am. I still have tendencies, I still have habits. But the thing about it is, like, despite all those strings pulling me back, being like, yo, like, this is who we are, like, this is who we've always been, you know, this is who we're comfortable being. Like, despite all of those strings pulling me back, trying to keep me in the same type of energy that my past self has been, healing is feeling those strings, feeling those events, feeling those feelings, and still choosing to step forward in a new light. With that being said, and just in conclusion, I feel like I just wanted to say this because I wanted to remind anyone who's watching, even if it's just me, it's okay if you feel like you've stepped back into a spot where you thought you were done with. It's okay if you do things and you're like, and you catch yourself afterwards and being like, yo, this is not, like, why am I still acting like that? Or why did I do that? You know, I don't do that anymore. It's okay. Like, you'll be fine. Like, you will be fine. You will be fine. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and end the episode with me just kind of reading what I wrote down. And I feel like I'm just gonna do that every episode. I feel like that'd be kind of cool. But basically, to sum up everything, you know, we frame healing and development in the lens of a thank God I'm not that person anymore. And I mean, you may not be that person anymore, but she or he is still with you. You stepping forward or moving forward is you choosing your future self whilst carrying the experiences of your past self. And I wanted to say this as someone who spent some time in the shadow of my past habits and trouble. I'm truly never going to be removed from the person I once was. They're still going to be there. Like, they're still going to be there. The change doesn't come from when you completely let that person go, but rather it comes from choosing something different, something better, and healthier to move forward with. Despite the pull the old habits and circumstances may have on you, I want to say this to remind you that because you slip up for a few days, a few weeks, maybe a few months, it doesn't mean that you don't have the capacity to move forward with light. Healing isn't a linear process. There's always going to be strings attached to you that pull you back and make it harder to move forward. You will always have those reminders of what you went through, but I believe there is strength in acknowledging that and still choosing to step up. There will be moments where old mentalities and habits pop up, but healing isn't in ignoring them. Rather, healing is acknowledging them, and despite that, choosing to move forward. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I know I kind of just rambled on, but I really feel like this will find the person that it's meant to find, and I hope that it helps you out. And I hope that if you can take anything away from this video, is that you're human and that we're all human, and no one told us how to live life and no one told us how to do this, and therefore we shouldn't feel bad or anything that we're not getting things right on the first try, or kind of going back and, you know, going back into our habits that made us feel safe. But rather we just recognize it and, you know, just be like, you know what, I recognize this habit, I recognize what I'm doing, I recognize the self-preservation, and just move forward and try to move out of it.